Thanks, Jay.
All right, are we all ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
This conference will now be recorded.
At 7 o'clock, I'll call the, what is today, January 18th, DeSoto City Council meeting to order. We will start with roll call, please.
Lane,
Here.
McMoran, Hanamichael,
Here.
Daniels,
Here.
Tripp,
Here.
all are present.
All right, we invite you all to please rise and join me in this pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item tonight is our consent agenda. Tonight on the consent agenda, we have approval council workshop and city council meeting, approval of pay ordinance number 966, and approval resolution 2033 waiving general government accounting procedures for item anyone would wish for discussion.
I would like to remove for the EDC number 49577.
A check?
Yes.
Okay, we want to remove a check number 49577 from the pay ordinance for further discussion. So would you make that as a motion?
Yes.
All right, did you get that motion, Brandon?
Yes.
All right. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to remove check 4955. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right. So can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda accepting check 495? What?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second to approve the consent agenda. Brandon, please call the roll.
Tripp,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Hanamichael,
Yes.
McMoran, Daniels, or Lane, excuse me. Motion carries.
All right, so now let us discuss check number 49755. Is that the right number? Danny, particular question, what's your,
Yes. Yeah, I'd like to see if we could get some, I know that we did get agenda of what they're doing on the EDC, but with the changes that have been going on, I wanted to see some accountability on the amounts and what they're spending that money for.
okay?
And I know we did get something just yesterday from, was it McDaniel?
McDowell?
McDowell.
Yeah.
And we did get that yesterday, and I think he sent it to everybody. And just get some accountability and what's going on, and since they have some changes, and maybe we can talk about at a further time, we can talk about maybe getting some people on that board, a voting member on that board of the
Okay,
economic development.
so, okay,
I didn't wanna go into the whole thing on it. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I think we need to kind of look into it and maybe do some adjusting.
so, Mike, this $30,000 is the first, is it,
Yeah, that's the first of quarterly payments.
quarterly payment to the
To
EDC?
the EDC. So we have $90,000 for the whole year, and they just bill us quarterly.
Right.
The normal pay, the usual payment that we do.
And
And,
this foot check was for $95,132.35.
Okay, so that's
shocking.
shocking.
Oh,
Consult.
yeah.
But I think the point is, a lot of that work was done for the EDC in support of their operations through the last couple months of last year. Maybe it was December of last year. So that work was done on their behalf through us, and as they had been. So, like you were saying, Rick McDowell, time in handling EDC activities. So, Mayor, that check is not the regular quarterly payment that we normally give. That's the one that comes through Shockey.
Yeah,
So,
that check's shocking.
yeah, it's for Shockey, but Rick McDowell, and also some of the other stuff that Shockey's been doing there in support of the EDC. So
okay.
it's I'm not.
It's first page about a little less,
there it
little
is.
less than halfway down.
All right. Yeah, I went,
Yeah, 49577.
Because that Shockey check also includes the work sessions that we've had. Includes
Yeah, there's
Nancy's, Maze's communications.
Some of that is in there.
It's incorporating of all of that.
a lot of the mapping efforts that they've done just for us that
Yeah,
isn't.
I thought that was the
it's-
one last week that we approved, 15,000 something, that we approved last week.
There may have been one
Yeah,
to
there
Mays
was.
last week.
Yeah, there
Or
was, the last pay
month.
agenda was 16,000 something.
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
And I thought that was for that, so, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, this 95 has a number of efforts. Some were for EDC, some were just for us, like Robert said. So I can get you the detail on what was done. And if we need to have a discussion about what that looks like moving forward in terms of what the chamber board's needing and doing, and obviously there's transition occurring there.
Yes.
That we do need to discuss as a group and decide, because it's pretty clear that,
Things
first of all,
have changed.
last year, yeah, it's changed. And the level of support, therefore, there in the meantime. So, have a discussion among the groups will probably be a good idea.
okay. So regarding payment of this check then, Mike, do we hold that to the next meeting? Till we get further detail? Or do we?
Up to the council, I obviously warrants a discussion moving forward. I think the services rendered, were rendered and at the level commensurate with what they're charging. I wouldn't have any problem recommending to pay it, although I understand that there's some questions about the scope and nature of their service forward.
Being a person on the consulting side, it's always a challenge to get, when you're consulting to collect payment for services, and I guess I would, yeah.
Well, I don't wanna I'm not trying to cut that out. I was just trying, that scope was for that check was written out for the whole year thing, and of $95,000, and I think we need to look into that now since things have changed. But I wasn't wanting to cut off things for services that have been rendered, and I'm trying to figure out how to say that, Mayor, that
Okay.
Well,
I'm trying to understand that I'm not wanting to just stop payment completely. I'm just trying to get a scope of what's going on and see what their you know, we know that, they had salaries they were paying out of that at one time for, people that worked for them, and that's been terminated.
Well, are we confusing the two? There's the check to Shockey, which is this consulting, but there's also the $30,000 check. When we keep talking about paying for up front, I think that's the check 49595 for 30 grand. And that, yes, does include
That's
salary. So I think,
operations, right.
I'm wondering if we're confusing line items, whereas the one for Shockey is for consulting services for the city, of which a large chunk has gone to support economic development needs. And I'm confused as to which check was accepted now from
Well,
the pay
the
ordinance.
number was the 49577 is the one we accepted from the pay ordinance. So
Okay.
the other check has already been approved.
But I think, Danny, some of the questions you're raising have to do with check 49595.
Yeah, you're asking more EDC and not
That goes
Shockey,
to the chamber.
although there's questions that eventually need to be answered on both sides, but the two are being confused.
Yeah, because the EDC is the chamber. It's just a committee of the chamber. It's not, it's a function that the chamber provides, but the check is to the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, and that was Danny's point, was that
It was,
we have no
there's no
council
accountability.
representation on the actual expenditure of those funds on the chamber side, you
Well,
know.
except for Rob.
But Rob's representing tech-wise, not the
Oh,
council.
okay.
He's a
We have
member of
no,
the chamber,
so-
so therefore he's representing that part. He's not a voting member of that board or anything like that. We have no voting member of that board.
As
the
the council.
city.
Not as a
From the
city.
city.
From the city, yeah.
Yeah, and so we have no city representation or city,
Right.
you know, except for the mayor
Yeah.
attends the meetings and so does the, city administrator, but these are not voting members. We do have a voting member of Rob because he's a member of the chamber, but,
Yeah.
you know, what I'm saying that usually some of the funding that we had in the past, we had, a lady come in here and she'd give us an account of what they've been spending the amount of money on. Well, we've not got that anymore, and things have changed, and I think we need to look into the whole scope of it now, and things need to change, so I
Yeah.
don't know really, do I have to,
But,
how do I put this
Well, I
out?
think, so what we wanted, I think what you want to have is a further discussion of DeSoto Council and EDC interaction, right?
Yes, yeah.
Basically.
Well, chamber interaction.
Yeah.
And
The-
chamber,
The whole chamber
the whole thing.
interaction,
But
because
yeah,
the money flows through the
the
chamber.
money flows right now through the chamber, so that's.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Well, and I can support that. I think we ought, I don't see holding up the payment to Shockey because of
Yeah.
that conversation,
Right.
though.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So can I make a
So
motion?
can I withdraw that?
Well, no, we just
That's fine.
discussed it, so
Yeah.
we just need a motion to approve the payment of the check now.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve check number 49577 to Shockey Consulting Service.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Thank you, Danny. Roll call, please.
I'm sorry.
Mac
For
Moran,
the confusion.
Lane,
Yes.
Hanamichael,
Yes.
Daniels,
yes,
Tripp.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And Mayor, if I could just put
Certainly.
just kind of put a bow on that. So our contractual arrangement with Shockey ended at the end of 2023. So we're no longer under contract with them for any services. I have directed them to continue Rick McDowell's involvement because they're up until last week, there hadn't been really anybody to take economic development inquiries, and there are a lot of them going on right now. We just have a lot on the economic development. So we want to continue to be responsive to inquiries from businesses and opportunities. So I've directed that work to continue, but the intent is for the next council meeting to have Shockey come back and do this reset on what their scope of services is going to be for 2024. And so that we can have a good understanding of what the scope and cost of those services will be. And that's a good time, I think, to bring that discussion into that, the EDC support into
Sure.
that discussion too.
Right.
So
All right,
look for that at the next council meeting.
okay. Call to public Only seeing Gary in the audience, I'm going to dispense with the full paragraph, but if anyone wanted to speak to us, we would accept their comments right now. So we'll go to item 3, old business. We do not have any, so we'll go to 4A. Consider on-call task order number 5 with GBA in the amount of $150,612.
Thank you, Council. So this is task order 5 is a lot to continue some services that are being rendered. And then there's a new item with that is to be the owner's rep as the new Panasonic 5 Mile sanitary sewer gets constructed. So there are 5 different tasks: project management, meeting attendance, and very excited, which they continue to do for us. The sewer collection system, project construction phase review for Panasonic, that's the new task. That's between 3 and 4 sewer collection system plan review make up the bulk of almost 100,000 of the task. And then 5 is development review for sewer flow capacity, which is becoming more often as we look at new developments and get into the city, looking at how that works with our existing systems and what we need to do to improve or add to our system to accommodate new development. The sewer Task 3 sewer collection system plan review. They help basically myself when I do plan review for either sanitary sewer lines, force mains, or pump stations. They're kind of a set of eyes with their expertise to go and look at those different facilities and making sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed as far as design before we get to final approval. So you can see in the very last page, it's their fee for their different tasks. This is consistent with what we've done in the past, and like I say, the new task 4, is for them to represent us and just make sure that as things go with the 5 Mile sewer, that the construction is going good and the inspection is going well. They've already worked with Hall Valley, who's doing the inspection for that, to make sure that their reviews are detailed with pictures so that we don't have to be on site all the time. So we were trying to minimize that cost and try to get that detail from the contractor and their inspector so that we can make sure that things are being done appropriately as we get through the process. And, so yeah, a lot of this is continuation of what they've been doing for the city with the addition of task force to do some of our own rep on the 5 Mile. And like I say, Gary's here, so I'll be happy to answer any questions. And Gary will be here.
All right. Any questions from council? I'm not hearing any. We're ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve task order number 5 with GBA in the amount of $150,612 and to authorize the city to sign that task order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hanamichael.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes.
Tripp.
Yes.
McMoran. Lane.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Consider contract amendment number 4 with GBA for raw water. $59.
So thank you again. So this is to basically fund the last part of some well improvements. The original contract was approved back in 2021, where eventually we drilled 2 new wells, 3 and 6, which are both completed and done. Those projects took a little bit longer than we anticipated, that they were supposed to be 6-7 months, I think was the original timeline. I think we ended up close to 2 years by the time that was all completed. So in this amendment, there's, you can go down a couple pages and it describes the work that was completed for wells 3, 6, and 9. 9 is the new well that we're getting ready to bring back before you for approval to start that project. But in the description, they did a lot of extra work that was out of scope in the write-up further down as their breakout, but then it's kind of their project schedule, and you can kind of see how it's highlighted. The light gray indicates what was originally scoped, and the black indicates the duration of the actual work. So some of this amendment is to recoup some of that cost, not all of it. The majority of it is to finish out the completion of well number 9, which we took bids on last week, and hope to bring something to the council here in the next month on approving the construction of and the drilling of that new well. So this is to continue their services through the completion of the drilling of well 9, and all construction and administration that goes along with that.
Okay, any questions for Joe?
So you say it recoups part of the out of scope. Are we gonna get another request for the remainder of the out of scope?
No, this covers everything.
This does cover everything.
This is, yep,
All right.
So how many active wells will we have after this is completed?
so this is, so the wells that we've done have all been active, so 3 and 6 were active, those are new wells. And then 9 is an active well on the north side of the river. And so it's anticipated, I think capacity of well 9 is around 300 gallons a minute. The test on it showed it could do about 700 to 800 gallons a minute.
Yeah, that, on the north side of the river, we had a lot better test well results than on the south side. And it's between 500 to actually it's at 900 GPM. So it's way better than what we have been witnessing on the south side.
Yeah.
But, again,
Yeah, so
wells in, you know for sure.
Yeah, so we anticipate this well, it's designed in the pump size for 500 to 600 gallons a minute. So real good capacity for our wells on the north side.
It's a lot deeper well than the other ones, but
So this would take it to the completion of all that work, and that would be the end of that work for our active wells. We've got another project going on with HDR on the inactive wells, and we will have a report that we'll bring back to the council once they completed that on next steps to look at our inactive wells to get them operating again.
So how many we have active now?
6.
So we will have 6 active wells,
And how many inactive?
and
6 inactive.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
it's
6
it's
and
very
6.
likely that 2 of the currently inactive wells will continue to be inactive. The ones that are, we have 2 of them way out west by Edgerton Road, out by the greenhouse out there. Yield on those pretty low. They're remote. We likely leave those inactive, but that's part of HDR's work.
All right, any other questions? Yes.
So it looked like, timeline and scope was quite a bit larger than anticipated. I guess, were there any things that we were able to kind of learn from the first chunk to carry into this or other?
I can address that. We're not going to have the same contractor. We've absolutely refused. Yeah, it really was the contractor
Okay.
on those first 2 wells.
No,
that-
really good to understand.
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
it was a good contractor, it's not a local contractor, and so we didn't
Yeah.
get, it wasn't timely on the services that, so this one, we are looking at local contractors to better do it, and a very high emphasis on completing it within the project timeline that's been identified in the contract documents, so that we don't have that again.
we're reviewing the low bid right now with them and really asking those type of questions and trying to make sure they're.
Okay, great.
And we have liquidated damages, if not, but we would like not to go to liquid. We want to make sure that if we award it, they understand the timeline and that they can meet the timeline.
Okay, any other questions? Good. Ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve amendment number 4 in the amount of $69,159 and authorize the city administrator to sign.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lane,
Yes.
McMoran, Daniels,
Yes.
Tripp,
Yes.
Honor Michael?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Item C, consider change order number 1 with Kissick Construction in the amount of $123,792 for water well field improvement project.
And thank you. Council, yes, we approved a contract with Kissick back in August of this year. And that was to go out to the well field and basically cut in and put valves and Ys into the line so that as we continue down this path of our well field improvements and our water line improvements, it gave us the ability to be able to clean the water lines from the wells all the way to the water treatment plant. At each well, we've got vaults, and within those vaults, the pipeline coming from the well was 8 inches in diameter. When we started excavating outside of the vaults to be able to add all these valves and Ys, we found out that the pipe increased from 8 inches to 16 inches right outside the vault. And we had ordered and purchased, we'd ordered all the components as 8 inches. Fortunately enough, we weren't charged for that, but we had to go back in and upgrade all of our equipment to 16 inches, which then changed the size of the vaults that we had to use. We were able to work with Kissick to minimize that. Originally, we were up around $200,000 in just for the material. So working with Kissick, they did a really good job labor-wise, so we came in a little bit low on labor-wise. There was some televising that we didn't do because now we have the ability to pick it ourselves, and so we were able to reduce that cost down to what it is today. So unfortunately, it's one of those things that's buried and we didn't know, and we dug up the first one. We said, well, let's continue digging up, and every one that we dug up, to our surprise, was 16 inches and not 8 inches. And the price of valves going from 8 to 16 more than doubled. And Kissick did a really good job of controlling their labor because they're more expensive to handle and the pipe to cut and everything. So they help minimize the change order. We'd have liked to have come with this a lot sooner, but because everything was being kind of designed on the fly, we had to wait till things got built to be able to know what that final cost was going to be. What we do have now is access at every one of our wells. The valves and Ys are in concrete vaults, which we have easy access to now. Some of them we had to dig up in the past, and when you're going to clean the lines every year or every other year, digging up the equipment is not a good thing to do. So we're in a really good spot now to be able to maintain our lines on an annual basis to make sure that they're clean, to be able to provide good water from the well. And so yeah, tonight asking for approval of this change order. This completes the project and all the work. So this will end their work for that well field part.
Questions?
Maybe more of a curiosity question than anything else. I mean, it's fantastic. We're now set to be able to clean our lines annually. What were we doing before?
We hadn't cleaned the lines. We cleaned the one line 5 years ago.
Yeah, we did. We did a cleaning operation about 5 or 6 years ago. Before that, there's no record that we've been operating the plant for 20 years. And there was no record that the Army had really done it on a regular basis. I mean, clearly they hadn't done it on a regular basis because there really was no way for
Yeah, and it was mainly the raw water line from kind of what's been called the H structure, which is close to the wastewater treatment plant, which we had to go in and put valves and Ys so that we could actually put the pig in it and do that cleaning. We weren't able to clean any of the lines from the wellhead, so this allowed us to be able to clean the lines from the well all the way to the water treatment plant now.
Yeah.
And so, what do we I mean, a little bit obvious question, but what do we anticipate being the impact in terms of being able to actually get in there and clean our lines? In terms of
so in terms of what it did when we did the cleaning back in 6 years ago or so, we saw the head pressure on our pumps go from 180 total dynamic head down to 110 or so. I mean, it really was a significant impact on a few of them. Just that friction loss, the pipe, we
Bigger hole.
started off at 16 inch so, when we're only having to produce 600,000 gallons a day, plant, it's not that big of a deal. But now that we're going to have a plant capable of 4 or 8, it is a big deal. So that's
And I
why
guess
we were
that-
able to get away with not doing it for so long.
And I guess that's the only reason I'm kind of highlighting that is the benefit, just wanting to kind of highlight the benefit of why we're doing this work and making this investment
Yeah.
as the community grows. I think it's,
Yeah, pumping costs,
Energy, equipment.
costs.
Yeah, the
Energy
energy
costs,
costs is, you
exactly.
don't recover that just in energy.
Yeah,
exactly.
That reduces the cost of energy, but it also reduces the stress on the pumps because they're not having to
Exactly.
pump against a hard.
100%.
Longer,
Yeah.
longer between cycles.
Longer pump
replacement.
life and, so as
Yeah.
long as, And
Just,
it- and-
just wanted to kind of have that explanation
Yeah.
for any folks who might be watching the meeting to understand again, like, why are we making this investment?
And we were able to clean some of the lines. Some of the lines we were not able to clean yet because we were working on the pumps for the active wells because they had seen a lot of stress. And so as we get the rest of the active wells up and running again, then we'll be able to go in and clean those lines all the way to the H structure. And then this summer, we'll look at cleaning the 2 raw water lines from the H structure all the way to the water treatment plant.
Fantastic.
So then we'll have a complete clean system, and then on an annual basis or every year and a half, then we'll be looking at doing that, all the wells in our main lines.
And so that'll be part of the budget moving forward, that annual cleaning.
Yeah, that'd be just
Yeah,
an
we
annual
can
maintenance.
do it. We can probably do that in-house mostly.
Oh, yeah, we would just do that in-house, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we can rent the pigs, and, because we'll have the pumps, and you use the pumps to be able to push the pig to clean the lines,
Yep.
so.
Great.
Source of funds for this, Mike?
Yeah, this is still the Panasonic. They've, according to the development agreement, have made those
Out of the
initial
development
deposits.
agreement,
That's where this has come.
Ready for a motion, I think.
I'll make a motion to approve change order 1 with Kissick Construction in the amount of $123,791. Authorize the city administrator.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Daniels. Tripp.
Yes.
McMoran. Lane.
Yes?
Hunter-Michael.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Item 5, executive session. Did you get a motion to someone, Patrick?
Yes, I did email that out this afternoon, so.
Okay.
20 minutes still?
Mike, one of them kind of resolved. You still think we need 20 minutes?
Probably 10.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we recess into executive session at 7:33 PM for 10 minutes to discuss private property or private real property needed for 2 city sewer projects pursuant to land acquisition KSA 754319-6, with the open meeting resuming in the city council chambers at 7:43 PM.
Do we have a second? I'll second. All right.
And
Just to be clear,
Mayor,
do both of these involve Flint?
One does.
Yeah.
One does.
One does, so.
So we'll do
I'll
it first, and then we can come pull you back into the
Sure.
executive. Is that okay? Oh, you're the guy.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Not Mike.
Randy can just note that.
Yeah, I'll note that.
Yeah, I'll sit out.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
It's the first executive session, isn't it? What about that? Is this your guys' first executive session?
No,
Second?
you did this to us on our first night.
I was thinking it was every night, but.
Starting in September. This is copy and paste from the previous meeting minutes.
Yeah.
Just gotta make sure I got the statutes right.
How you doing?
Well, how about yourself?
Pretty good. Recovering from the holidays, trying to get caught back up.
Recovering from the 3.5. That's a everyday progress, though.
Well, you go from having a 3.5-month-old to having a 14-year-old at some point.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna enjoy this thing.
Joe, you're just getting involved in all kind of stuff.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So next, let's see, what are the big things next time? So we'll come back, well, the next council meeting will have the GMP for the wastewater treatment plant. They'll be done bidding things out. And, so that'll be done. We took final bids today for the water treatment plant. So they will, Guardian and, HDR, they'll go through that. And we got a meeting next Wednesday or Thursday. And then they'll go through all the bids. And then we'll make final selections for that. And then we're in the February, 1st of March, council, we'll have that final GMP. So that'll be done.
Wow.
So those two big projects will be,
Then you just got to get them built.
then we just gotta get them done. And, so they were moving trailers out today to the wastewater treatment plant. They'll be, either this week or next week, moving trailers out to the water treatment plant.
And basically, they're just building a new water treatment plant next to the
Yeah, go
Just-
right around it.
around it.
Yeah, around it, yeah. So,
I can't believe that old water treatment wood, an old wooden water treatment. Crazy.
we can't get it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many, inquiries. The bill, you know,
Oh, economic development
Oh,
first.
yes.
Oh yeah, I'm on the finance committee.
Yeah.
That's Mike talking about keeping Rick McDowell on. I think he said these had 11 responses since the 1st of December.
Yeah.
So the last 6 weeks, which is probably more than we had in the last 18 months.
they've got a great big one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to help them with on, looking at, water use.
Is this the data center?
It's what?
Data center?
It's,
Yeah.
yeah. They want to, and it's, it's out, so 2031 would be 46 million gallons a day. I think it's 960,000. But the way it's done, so I got an email with that. But it talks about industrial waste. So I'm like, okay. And then it's got kind of like treatment plant. I'm like, so the question is kind of like what Panasonic did. Do they have their on-site? Free treatment.
All right, Kevin.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun stuff.
And I think she drank like. Didn't know that it had that much caffeine.
They just drank one.
But yeah, I have a heart condition, I can see.
You get to respond to it.
That was just
Oh, just,
I was saying last week, I think that.
last meeting was Pam.
To talk about water.
you're glad.
It was, yeah, well, I have 7:30. Give me some consciously.
How was last week with all the stuff?
I'm not sure if you saw that stat that got posted on. Eight of them were voted for.
Saturday? Last Friday night? People are losing decent school. And I feel like if you're gonna get stuck after the shock.
But I mean, the road was really clear. It wasn't until I got to Cedar Creek. And once you get past K7, the left lane was, so everybody just driving on that. But once I got on K7. So everybody got this. I was involved. I got off.
Every single road was spotless.
By the end of that night, because I went down Henner, and we really hadn't touched a whole lot. West side of it. 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I came there the next morning. Clean, curb to curb.
They pride themselves on that.
Oh, yeah.
I think they have. You can tell across the city.
Well, that's what, when I was in Fleetwood, you do, when you cross state line.
Oh, yeah. Well, you just tell by the sidewalks. Look at the sidewalks. There, that's my grandma.
Two different ordinances. There's a resolution.
Thank you.
I'm gonna sneak by. Sorry. Here we go.
In order now.
What's the other resolution? Are they both here?
Oh, I gotta ask.
All right.
Brandon, do you know what the next ordinance number is?
I don't have a phone, but I'll get you some.
So you've got 2034 here.
That's for the resolution. Number.
Brandon, are we at time yet?
We are at time, but no sooner than.
Do we need to do one before
Okay.
the other?
Should be
do the ordinance.
2602.
What was that?
2602. Okay, we are, what is it, 7:44, we're back in regular session. I'm ready for a motion on our real estate discussion.
I make a motion, we pass ordinance 2602. You want me to read the description of it?
Do you need the description?
Nope.
As long as you're not making a change, you say as written,
As
as
written.
presented.
So make a motion, we pass ordinance 2602 as written.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lane.
Yes.
McMoran.
Yes.
Hanamichael.
Yes,
Daniels.
Yes.
Tripp.
that's the ordinance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to abstain from the
Oh,
ordinance.
from the ordinance. I need to abstain.
Okay,
I
got it.
withdraw my vote and I need to abstain.
I will make that note. Thank you.
Okay. Now, the resolution.
Now make a motion, we pass resolution number 2034 as written.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
1 second, let me just catch up here. Sorry about that. Hanamichael.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes.
Tripp.
Yes.
McMoran.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Council, advisory report, city administrator.
You screwed me all up.
Nothing to report tonight, Mayor. Thank
Okay.
you.
City attorney,
Nothing for me, thank you.
city engineer.
Couple things. One, got through our first big snowfall. I thought the crew did a great job by that evening, it'll be Tuesday evening. I think we had 99% of the streets done. I came through there first thing Wednesday morning. Most residential streets were curb to curb, so they did a great job in getting the city cleaned up and folks able to get around and about. Even though we had about 6 or 7 inches of snow. So kudos to them. And two really quick things. So today we wastewater treatment plant. So we have, we'll be coming back to you here, I think the first council meeting in February, with the final guaranteed maximum price. And today we took bids for the final package for the water treatment plant. We should make decisions on that next week on the selected vendors. And we'll come back before the city council here early March, I'm guessing, for that final guaranteed maximum price. So we will have both the water and wastewater treatment plant fully under contract and ready to go. So it's exciting news.
I was gonna say, good job on the street crews, because when temperatures get that low, it's hard to keep them treated properly.
Yeah.
Do you have any update on Sunset Drive or Sunset Street? Apparently that was one.
Yeah, what happens a lot is they park cars on both sides of the roads, and it makes it very difficult to get we can't get our big trucks down there. So eventually, because I was out the next day, and it was done that next day.
Okay.
So I'm guessing people moved off the street, and we were able to clean pretty much curb to curb. There were some vehicles that were still left on that we had to go around. But that's the biggest issue there is they park on both sides, and we can't get our big dump trucks down. Sometimes we'll have to take a smaller pickup truck just to get one path down, and then when they move their cars during the day when they go to work, then it opens it up a little bit. So that's the issue we ran into there. So that's an area that we're aware of.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had a couple people reach out directly to me on that one. I'd at least ask about it.
That went up in the next day, and we cleaned it from curb to curb.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Assistant City Administrator.
Nothing today, Mayor.
All right. Council comments. Danny, would you like to start tonight?
Yeah, I wanted to put emphasis on that. The crew did do a wonderful job on the streets and, wanted to make sure that was noted and that's all I had tonight, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Danny.
Oh, and I did, thank Mike, for the deal on the traffic situation. They said it was backed up from.
Oh, the signal?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I got a call and they said it was backed up all the way to past K10, but, I don't know. It couldn't have cleared out as fast as, cause you had somebody just happen to be.
Yeah, they were there
Driving by the signal
as
when
I
I
called
called.
them. Yeah,
so
yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
I wanted to thank him for that too, Administrator,
No problem.
for the quick response. It was quicker than the report. So, thank you much. That's all I
Sure.
had tonight,
Yep.
Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Victoria?
Nothing.
Okay. Rob?
Nothing tonight?
Courtney?
Nothing tonight.
Kevin?
I got nothing.
I got one small thing then. Every year we buy a table at the Greater Kansas City Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. That is Tuesday, February 13th. So if anyone would be interested, it's a breakfast from 7:30 to 9 at the Kansas City Convention Center. And the speaker this year is Pat McCown from McCown Gordon.
You
So,
said February 13th?
yeah, Tuesday, February 13th,
What time?
7:30. Brandon, would you take if anybody wants to go, would you let Brandon know? And I'll let Brandon keep track of the table.
Sounds
All
good.
right, that's all I got. Ready for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
I was gonna extend an offer.
Brandon, thank you
Meeting
again.
every other week with Courtney and Danny,
Yeah, of
just
course.
one-on-ones. Courtney,
Joe, thank you.
Kind of just update, get up to speed.
I'm gonna go get some food because I was gonna eat while Sheila was talking.
You
so
don't have that.
I'm gonna go get some. Yeah, it's Grandma's Kitchen, man. They're really good. I'm a big fan.
The main reason I'd like one of mornings with all the council.
Their breakfast is so good.
Discuss in there that are under an Indian non-disclosure agreement that I can't put in a staff report or a memo to the whole council to get you up to speed on.
Be careful, stay warm tonight.
Yeah.
And there's a few economic development prospects that are coming that
Yeah, we
that are
will.
gonna have
Is it
some
start snowing out there?
negotiation.
Is it really?
Different things and like you to be up to speed on.
It's supposed to be done by like 10.
And so we could start. It could be.
No, I'm just kind of over it right now.
Text me or something.
Is there a day that's better for you?
I've got
Is it
Rotary
better first thing, last thing?
and
Let's see. My schedule's usually all
it'd be
over
after
the
10 because I'm probably gonna
Mondays.
head straight get my workout in. And,
Why don't
or if you've got time, I've got a little bit of time tonight. We got done early.
Well, if you could
Understand.
tell me a day and time,
All right.
I would stick with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I can do that because then I can plan around that.
Okay.
Because I just go to
All right,
the
sounds
places
good.
They want me there.
So I meet with Danny every other Friday,
Okay.
and I'm meeting with Courtney actually every other Friday as
So
well.
would it be too much? Friday?
No, not at all. It'd be
Okay.
probably bad.
My left ear, that
Okay, now I know.
good from the left side.
Alright.
So my Fridays with
Did you
Courtney
see my
are
note
at
that,
11.
next
And my
Thursday, I
Fridays
can
with
meet, but we
Danny
need to move it a little.
also at 11. So it could be just before those or just after those. at noon or
After would
something.
be better.
Okay.
So, most any time, I'll shoot you just.
Do you want to start
what
then?
time would work. I just.
We can start tomorrow if you want to, or the
I cannot
Friday after.
tomorrow because I have an enrollment
And
tomorrow,
it,
but I
you
can't
said
next
Friday,
Friday.
and I was
Okay,
like,
so
that's
at
my
noon?
Thursday.
Yeah,
So,
no problem.
okay, cool.
Yes.
I'll shoot you what time will work. I think I've got.
I
a
will,
couple options
as soon as I
that
get
day.
back to my computer, I'll send you a reoccurring calendar invite
Okay.
every other Friday
Every other that
at
was.
noon. Yeah, yeah, and of course it it could be updates on anything, right?
Did you shut the meeting off?
Oh, nope, I didn't. I wanted to catch
Now
Victoria
everybody
here.
knows when we're meeting.
Yeah, well,
Wow, 16 views.
16 views.